everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope you're having a great day. I have a 10-minute watercolor painting for you of a yellow rose, and my 10-minute watercolor series is all about doing a quick, simple painting in a short amount of time, help boost that confidence, and give you that sense of accomplishment that you did something in a short amount of time. So that's what I have for you today. But before I get into it, I did want to mention a couple things. My website, CoreyFrankCreates.com, is the best way to get in touch with me, learn more about me and what I do. You can sign up for my weekly email newsletter there and get my free no-brainer watercolor supplies buying guide. Really helpful for figuring out which supplies best fit you and your budget. And I also have a free watercolor tree tutorial on there you can sign up for, as well as my online art shop and my online classes. I have online, courses more like. They are courses with pre-recorded content that you can work through at your own pace. Very comprehensive, all the information I wish I had when I first tried watercolors. Step by step, starting with the very basic foundation stuff, working to more advanced. Those are how those courses are laid out. When you're ready to take that next step and get more in-depth with watercolors, I would love for you to go check those out. Again, all that stuff is on my website, CoreyFrankCreates.com. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get into this painting. I talk through my process. It is in real time, so if you would like to follow along, you're absolutely welcome to do that. Otherwise, feel free to just sit back, relax, and enjoy. Okay, so I have my 140-pound cold press watercolor paper here. This is cut down to a 5" by 7" size. Typically, I recommend the Canson XL watercolor paper. It's great price, really high quality. This is, I think, an off-brand. I don't remember. It's just a piece that I had laying around. It is 140-pound weight, but I don't like it as much as the Canson brand. So I'm going to be using 3 different brushes here. I've got my 3/4 inch Silver Limited Black Velvet Oval Wash brush. I have my size 8 round brush, the same brand. And then this is the Artigria from an Artigria set. It is a flat wash brush. And I wish it was a slant rather than the rectangular edge, because it'd be a little easier at the slant to do some of the effects I want in this painting, but I didn't have a slanted brush with me, so this is what I'm going to be using. Those should be the only 3 brushes I use during this painting. And of course, when it's a 10-minute piece, I don't put an outline sketch. I just want to try and get something really quick right down on the paper and just go for it. It's really nice to kind of have that freedom to not worry about really sticking within pencil lines and being super exact with it. It's going to be much looser, more free, things like that. So let's go ahead. I'm going to start my 10-minute timer here. And the reference image that I'm using is from unsplash.com, and you can find it linked in the description. I'm going to start with some cadmium yellow, and I'm going to kind of just lay in a general shape of what I want. Again, very loose with it. This is a fairly large brush, so I can cover quite a bit of territory at one time. Need a little more water in there. Basically, I'm trying to block in the shape of this rose. It's a yellow rose. I've done a lot of other roses before. This is one of my favorite subject matters. I love painting roses, but I've never done a yellow one. So I figured we would try that and just have fun with it. Now I'm blocking in this general shape, and then I'm going to be going back in to add kind of shading and details. Again, this is not going to be super exact just because I don't have an underlined sketch underneath, and that's okay. When you're just practicing and trying to get something done quickly, it really helps you kind of pick up your speed a little bit so that you can get things done a little faster, build that confidence as you're going, and then also not have to worry about every single perfect little detail here. So there I have my yellow pretty much laid in. There's going to be just another little bit right here. A little bit here. There we go. Now, so I've laid that in, and while it's still wet, I'm gonna kind of come in here into a couple spots where there are these lighter portions of the petals, and actually I think this flat brush is gonna work better for that. Again, I wish it was a slanted flat brush because I think it'd be a little easier to do some of these sort of lifting techniques with the petals, but for now, that slanted edge would help me get a finer point, but for now I'm just gonna stay kind of right on the tip and start blocking out some of these sections where the petals are lighter. Like right here, a little bit right here. So this lifting technique is ways that you can kind of correct mistakes or create highlights with watercolor. You can do it while your paint is still wet. You could also do it just like I'm doing now. And actually, for some of these smaller ones, I'm gonna switch to my size 8 round brush because it comes to a finer tip. So it's gonna be a little easier to lift up smaller sections here. So I'm just going in with a clean, damp brush and just very lightly lifting, and then you can use a towel, clean towel, to kind of blot up some of the paint. Now when you do this, you're probably not going to get an exactly perfect pure white of the paper back, but it can really help lift up some mistakes, and if you catch it quick enough, especially if the paint is still wet and you kind of take just a damp brush that doesn't have a lot of water in it and really press it down several times and then lift with your towel, it can really help kind of get that paint back. I'm noticing there's a bristle in here, which is driving me crazy. Let's see if I can get it. There we go. Sorry, it was just driving me a little too bonkers. So this has dried quite a bit, and so I think what I need to do is add a little more water again in some strategic areas because I want to start getting some of my darker tones in here. I'm about the half-minute mark. I've got like 5 minutes 40 seconds left, so I need to really start getting a move on. This is my cadmium orange now. I had been using up to this point just cadmium yellow, and the paint does dry pretty fast, so ideally with some of this I want to try and re-wet just a little bit some of the areas I've already laid down where I want to get these dark portions, just so it can spread a little easier. It's definitely going to be a lot of dark kind of in the center here, just in loose kind of circles, or little kind of, not circles, but just general kind of spiral shape. And I'm gonna need to get much darker, so now I'm gonna switch to my cadmium red light. Just gently kind of stroking. Again, I'm not gonna have a ton of time for a huge amount of detail here. I'm gonna re-wet some of this a little bit. And I'm gonna go to my raw sienna here. Some of these deeper shadows in here. Again, very loose, but you are starting to see a bit of that rose take shape. Oops, sorry, had a little bit of a spill over here. And now I think I want to use, this is like, the name is escaping me frustratingly at the moment. I keep wanting to say brick red, but I know that's not the technical name of this paint. So, oh, I remember now. It's called brown madder, like M-A-D-D-E-R. So that's gonna give us some of these really nice dark shadowy tones in here. Some of the rose is sort of the edges are curling, so that's why we have these kind of darker rusty colors. Some right here. Oh, and in areas where I lay down where it's not still wet, where I can't use that wet on wet technique, I'm gonna have to go back over and just smooth out the edges with a little bit of water. I know I did a little mistake right there, that's okay. Again, very loose. And back to my flat brush. Just kind of add some of this more cadmium orange. Kind of switching back and forth between these two different brushes. I used that larger wash brush at the beginning so I could cover a larger territory at once, and I know I've got like just a little over 2 minutes left, so this may go a little long, which seems to be a trend with my 10-minute paintings lately. I say, oh, you can do it in 10 minutes, and then I go over. So take as much time as you need. The idea is to get something done in a short amount of time, but if you're feeling stressed and rushed, that's kind of counter to the goal. We want to have it be fun and enjoyable and achieve something in a relatively short amount of time, but not in a way that's really stressful. So take whatever time you need. If you want to take 15-20 minutes to get something like this done, go at your own pace. Okay, in my 1 minute and 45 seconds left, I'm going to go into my Sap Green here. I'm going to get a just loose approximation here of a leaf. Sorry about that. There is a siren in the background. I'm not sure if that will show up on the audio recording, but if it does, apologies. Another kind of leaf over here. Again, being very loose with it. That was the Sap Green. I'll add a little more of this rusty brown here. And with the minute left that I have, I'm gonna do a little bit of splatter. Got quite a bit of that yellow, the cadmium yellow, in the brush with some water, and I just flick it along my finger. If you don't want to get your finger dirty, you could flick it along the handle of another paintbrush, and it would work just as well. 30 seconds left. I think I can get a little more. I'm going to go over with my cadmium orange now. I do want to have enough time to, let's see. Again, I'm going to add just a touch more detail here. Like trying building up as much contrast as I can. So back to the brown matter here. Get a little darker in a couple of these areas, particularly in the center. That's my timer. You can't hear it because I have it on silent, but I can see it on the screen. So go a few seconds over here. This will be like a 10.5, maybe 11-minute painting. I'm gonna add just a little more splatter with my brown matter. Get a little bit of the Sap Green in there as well. There we go. And finally, I did like the way that brown matter looked, so I'm gonna use that for my signature. Stay right on the tip. You can use a smaller round brush, a detail brush if you want to sign your signature, but it can be good practice to use maybe a slightly larger brush. Again, this is a size 8 round brush. And all the materials that I would recommend, they're not necessarily the ones that I've used in this video, but the materials I would recommend, like brushes, paints, paper, they are linked in the description. I am an Amazon associate, so qualifying purchases, I do earn a commission on qualifying purchases. Please be aware of that. But these are the supplies in the description are the ones I would recommend either way. So hopefully that helps you in case you're wondering what supplies to use. So here we have it. We've got an approximation of a yellow rose here, and in a relatively short amount of time too. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. Until my next video, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. God bless, and I will see you soon.